The Draftstars crew, welcome back to another video here Saturday. It's a fun time of the week. Roosters v Cowboys, Tigers v Sharks, Broncos v Knights. We're going to go through it all here. If you are new here, jump in that description below, guys. Hit that sign up link and get cranking here on Draftstars. We're going to start with the outside backs, as always, and Manu and Teddy are up top in that clash against the Cowboys. It's going to be a very fun one there. Do we think either of them is going to go absolutely bonkers? They're both averaging 78 and 76 respectively, and that's obviously incredible for that price point. You know, we see in the halves, we've got Nico Hines up over 25,000 there, and obviously he has more consistency, but he's still averaging very similar to these guys, and you get him at 3 to 4 grand more expensive. So very, very interesting there. Obviously, you know, Teddy and Manu are two guys that are going to be a little bit more sporadic. You see 118 here and then a 40 last week. So Hines isn't having that inconsistency. And this is where you can obviously win comps, is if you fade these guys and go for some cheaper ones and, you know, and then spend some money elsewhere and get that consistency. Or, you know, if you miss out on these guys and they go bonkers, that's where you can miss out on those really big scores. So that's the slight worry with trying to fade either one of them. Obviously, Teddy, I think, is obviously the more consistent one than Manu, but up to you completely on how you think this one's going to go. I would say it'd be a close game, so potentially you could fade them and go for someone like Joseph Suaalii at 10,980, who has some ability to go big and get that 65, 70 something, that 43 last week, but he has that chance to get that mid-20s or even that 17. So there's definitely a small risk on him. Just at the price point, it's not too risky, but you know, if you went for Joey Manu at 21k and he gets a 40, you kind of lose your matchup straight up. So he's the solid one. You've got guys like Momorowski and Tupou who have been doing okay, but again, that don't have that consistency either. If you're looking at the Cowboys side of the ball, you see Tuolangi, who's absolutely killing it for a while. He's just completely fell off the map in terms of his scoring, so I'd be looking to fade him in this one. You've got guys like Drinkwater, you've got Val Holmes that have been doing really well, and Val's obviously that more X-Factor player. You can see there as well, 31 last week, but before that, 44 was his lowest in his last 5 games. So Val Holmes is a solid one as well at that around that price point. If we're looking a little bit lower, you've got guys like Ikuvalu, who comes back into the side this week with a few injuries. He's going to play centre, so if you think that they can do really well against the Tigers, I'd be looking at Ikuvalu as a solid option there as well. Through the lower to mid tiers here, you got Kapoa, who's been scoring really well, but again, up against the Cronulla Sharks, could be a tougher one for him. You could be looking at somewhere near that 28 or up towards that 30 odd there. So be aware of him there. You got guys like Cade Dykes. I wish he was like 9k, it'd be a lot easier, but obviously at that 14.6, so somehow he can be priced more than the basement. I don't know how. So obviously paying that extra K is a little bit annoying, but he has that opportunity to come out and play a lot better. He did look really good when he was out there last week, so he's definitely a solid one. And then anyone that little bit higher, I'm not too excited about, to be honest with you. The Cobbos, the Stags, the Oats, all solid options, but a little bit expensive. So if you have to play either one of those types of players, then I'd suggest Cobbo has a little bit more X factor. Obviously, the 22 in his return game wasn't great, but I definitely think he can come out and do pretty well. But any of those outside backs for Broncos could have that day against the Newcastle Knights for sure. I was just talking about with Hines, he's very expensive at 25,000, but a 79 average and the consistency you get from him, if you can manage to pick up a couple of cheaper guys you think will do well in that matchup, then he can be a great selection as always. Adam Doueihi against the Sharks. So that's the big worry with him, is just that he's coming up against a strong outfit and they might get beat pretty poorly. But I still think that him controlling the team, he'll still score pretty well. They're 50 plus, you'd imagine. But is that enough at that 21,000? I'm not exactly sure. You'll have to play that one. You'll obviously only be able to select one of him or Hines if you do go down that route. Robson, sneaky one, solid one, 55.9 is the average there. Jaden Brayley, if you're looking at that matchup, has two nice scores in a row, 57 and a 62 for him. So 18,000, if you can get anywhere near that 55, is very much worth it. We dropped lower from there. You got Sammy Walker and Connor Watson, who have been doing a great job. Sam Verrills as well, coming off a bit of a lighter one last week. But you know, Watson and also, Watson and Sam Walker have both been pretty consistent of recent time. And Walker's kind of that guy that can open up this game if there's a need for it, that's for sure, for them to try and win it. And Walker could be that guy. Watson's been very consistent in his time through the middle, so he can be a solid one as well if you're looking at that 15k mark. If we're going lighter from here, Jockey Madden, the worry with him is the price point's fine. It's the worry against the Sharks. So can he score somewhere around that high 30s even against the Sharks? And if he can, then you could do worse than picking him up, that's for sure. A little bit lighter from there, you got Braden Trindle as well, 10.5k. He's been having a great time of it the last 2 games that he's played. It's the 7th of July when he had to play 7 when Hines had COVID, I believe, and then the 48.6 last week. So if he can play anywhere near what he did last week and get somewhere around that 35, then that's going to be worth it at 10.5k. But he can obviously has a little bit of a risk of going lighter than that, which is very normal, for these types of players that you're picking up at a cheap price. So they could have a low one. They could also come out and play super duper well. Okay, if we're looking at the forwards now, I think guys like Joe O are going to be the big, interesting ones. Just, he's had really, really big games, but hasn't been scoring super effectively in Draftstars. We're getting mid to high 50s, which is great. Still, you'd be getting him at 20k, and you're looking for anywhere, you're wanting that upside. I just don't know if he has that. So, if he had the chance of what like Payne Haas does and being able to go for really big scores, like that 90, for example. Not that he's had real big ones, but that's kind of the worry with these types of guys, is if they're just a consistent, you're looking to win the comp, you're looking for that bigger game here and there. And I think Payne Haas has that ability, obviously. Joe doesn't have it as much. Guys like Nanai, you can see that they have that ability to go absolutely nuts, the 70 odds, the 80s there, which he doesn't. I think Ruben Codger's the way to go this week, though. He gets to start, and I think he's going to get a 55 plus in his score. And at 18.4, it's a very easy pickup there for someone that I think is going to get close to that 60 minutes, which is another 7 from last week, and you're still able to score that 44. So I think anything 50 plus for him with that extra 7 or 10 minutes will be the way to go with him. Now, Butcher, 16.6k. So anything over 50 again at that price point is going to be a big win, and he can do it in defense and in those base stats, and he can do it through scoring tries as well. So I think he's going to have he's going to have to play a big role in this one. He's going to come up against Gilbert. He's going to come up against Lucy Leilua on that left, and he's going to be needed in defense, and also his attacking prowess is going to be on show as well. I'd be fading guys like Taumalolo. Kelvin Tuolangi's been scoring really well, but just be aware again that who he's coming up against, being the Cronulla Sharks, a good outfit that he could struggle a little bit, but still anywhere in that mid 40s would be solid enough at 15k. But if you don't have to pick him up, but I think if you have that amount of money, he could be fine, basically. Nothing too exciting there. Lucy Leilua is a very interesting one at 12.8. I think he's going to get that 50 odd minutes again, and anything above a 40 is a big win, 35, 40. So Lucy Leilua is a great one at that price to pop in your side. Very similarly that with Graham and also Lodge. You get some solid scores. Anything in the 40s, you're going to be a win. Graham's had 2 50 plus games in a row. So those 3 guys there are very good at that price. You got Radley and Butcher again, that low one around that 12k there. They could hit you anywhere between a 35 and a 50 in the minutes that they're going to get. So they're very interesting. And then Brody Jones at 11k. When he gets that time on the edge, he usually scores around a 40. So again, a 40 is perfect for that price. And from there, you got Kobe Hetherington in the 13 role, but he's not scoring super well. Just when everyone else is playing, except for like Carrigan, he doesn't seem to get the minutes. So that's that. Matt Croak is an interesting one. You could play him and get some big minutes out of him. At 10k, I don't see there's being much risk with him in the 13 role. So he's the one I'd be looking to plug in if you're playing that game there. And really, other than that, Tom Freeband, how we say it, 45.9 last week in pretty big minutes off the bench. So if you can get anywhere near those minutes again, absolute steal at 9k. So that's that video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed that Saturday preview. Plenty to talk about in that one. As I said, jump in the description, hit that sign up link, subscribe these videos, guys. Just keep going through these. We're going to be going all the way through the regular season and the finals. So stick true for them. I'm sure the prize pools will go up as well. I hope you enjoyed this. We'll catch you in the next video, guys. See you later.